In the very first episode of the show, when Ted hangs up the believe sign, he is telling the audience what the show is all about. The sign is by no means perfect. It is crudely made, a simple piece of construction paper taped to a wall with a single word scribbled on it. It is off-center, which no doubt drives some people crazy. But despite its imperfections, its message is clear, that no matter what life throws your way, you should believe. Believe in your dreams, believe in your friends, believe in the future, believe in yourself, believe. The sign hanging above the door is a constant reminder to the audience and the characters, making it so that hope is ever present. No matter what they are going through, the highs of victory, the lows of defeat, the believe sign holds true, showing the way forward when it's not always easy to see. This idea of belief was part of the show long before the first episode ever aired. The origins of Ted Lasso date back to a series of sketches made in 2013 for NBC Sports. The sketch focused on Ted Lasso, an American football coach hired by the Tottenham Hotspurs to coach football in the Premier League. The main joke boiled down to American football and football are called the same thing, but are actually very different. Jason Sudeikis as Ted played a charming fish out of water, and the sketches were incredibly well received by all. And that is where it would have ended had the character of Ted not become a brainworm for Sudeikis, living in the back of his mind for years. After a dinner with Olivia Wilde, who encouraged Sudeikis to explore the character further, Sudeikis was determined to tell Ted's story. Now, Sudeikis and company were fighting an uphill battle, as they tried to sell TV executives on the idea of a full Ted Lasso series. Turning a successful short comedic sketch into a full-length project was not something that was unheard of, but it was littered with far more failures than successes. A joke that works for a 5-minute skit does not always translate to longer-form storytelling. In a lot of ways, because of this, Ted Lasso was set up to fail.
I hope he fails miserably.
If Ted Lasso was to work as a series, it needed to be greatly expanded upon from its initial premise. Sudeikis knew he needed an emotional core to the show. Why was Ted taking a job halfway across the world in a field he had effectively no knowledge about? Why would a Premier League club hire someone who was vastly underqualified? The show needed to have some grounding in reality. The answer Sudeikis came up with became the emotional backbone of the show.
We're like, no, why did he take the job? Like, what's the hook there? It's such a broad concept. And I just started to riff. Oh, his marriage is ending, and he needs to give her space. Like, it was I just sort of riffed those dramatic elements of it to there to give it like an emotional foundation.
The more Sudeikis and company fleshed things out, the more they believed in the project. Unfortunately, their faith was not shared by all, as they tried to shop the show around.
What happened when you shopped around Ted Lasso here in Hollywood? What was the reaction?
No.
What's the opposite of a bidding war?
But they persevered until Apple TV took a chance on them and greenlit Ted Lasso for a 10-episode season. To me, the development process of the show feels so true to its message, as Sudeikis and company believed in an idea, believed in their ability for the story and characters to connect with an audience, and pursued their goals despite any roadblocks that came their way. The feeling of those initial NBC Sports sketches still exists in the show, with a number of jokes being taken directly from them and incorporated into the pilot.
Where he's from? He's from England?
Wales.
Wales? Wait, that's another country?
Yes and no.
How many countries are in this country?
4.
Well, I mean, he must be from England, yeah?
Wales.
Is that another country?
Yes and no.
How many countries are in this country?
4.
But Ted Lasso was growing beyond its humble origins, and into one of the most heartwarming shows of all time. But how does Ted Lasso make us believe? Well, he shows us how to believe through doing what he does best, coaching these young people to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. Ted is what we call a player's coach. A player's coach is a coach that spends more time communicating with their players and providing whatever they need to guarantee their success. He builds a positive team environment that focuses on team building and letting the players play. And creating a positive team environment is what Ted is best at. When he first comes to AFC Richmond, nobody has any faith in him. Nobody believes in him.
You've had a heck of a career.
Never thought it would end being coached by Ronald fucking McDonald.
In fact, this is the entire reason he was hired in the first place, as Rebecca was initially sabotaging him and the team in the hopes that they would fail and upset her ex-husband. But through kindness and a certain howdy-doodliness, Ted wins them all over, one by one. Because of his past experiences, he applies another mantra to how he lives his life and treats people.
Be curious, not judgmental. I like that.
Because of this, he assumes the best in people and wants to set them up for success. When he sees Sam struggling and learns that he has been underperforming, Ted's first thought is about how he can help Sam get more comfortable. Coach Beard is very practical, as he wonders if Sam might just not be cracked up for the Premier League.
Sam's down in every stat since Nigeria. Maybe the Premiership's too much for him.
But Ted is resolute that he just needs some confidence and support. Ted does this by throwing a little surprise party for Sam, giving him gifts that remind him of home. Sam feels the support and belief and immediately starts to improve. Ted tries to treat everyone equally and listen to other people's ideas and perspectives. A prime example of Ted believing in someone who at the time doesn't even believe in themselves is how he interacts early on with Nathan. He takes the time to learn Nathan's name and listen to his suggestions. He slowly builds him up, giving Nate more and more confidence. Knowing that someone believes in you is an incredibly powerful thing, and feeling like you have lost that support can be equally painful. Now obviously, Ted never stopped believing in Nate. He was simply going through his own issues and couldn't be constantly keeping up with him. But I think the use of the false nine shows how the culture of belief has influenced Ted, Nate, and the players. After the first half of the promotion deciding game is looking grim, Nate wants to abandon the false nine, something he had initially suggested. He fears that when it fails, he will get blamed for it, when in his mind, the players are the ones that are failing him. He does not believe in the team or their ability to execute his strategy.
And now you're going to play Nate's false nine, so when the team fuck up, which they will, okay, you can blame it on me. Well, no, fuck that.
On the other hand, Ted thinks they should continue to use the false nine. Nate thinks this is because Ted is trying to humiliate him, but the reality is that Ted believes in Nate and his tactics. This is despite Nate outing Ted's panic attacks to the press. But even though Ted believes in Nate and the false nine, he needs to know what the players think. By this point, the team is fully bought into Ted's culture of belief, and they want to continue the false nine. They believe in each other and their ability to persevere no matter what happens. Nate no longer believes, and that is why he leaves Richmond. Ted gets people to believe in him by believing in them. He makes people feel like they are part of something special and that everyone on the team is connected. He doesn't resolve every single little issue, but rather empowers people to do things themselves. He builds support systems like the Diamond Dogs, allowing people to feel heard. He does his best to be vulnerable and trust people, even though it's hard for him to do. When he tells his fellow coaches about the real reason he left the Tottenham game and the panic attacks that he has been having, they not only support him, but they reciprocate his vulnerability and open up about their own insecurities and indiscretions. Jamie Tartt is one of the people that Ted struggled most with trying to get him to buy into the system. But even after everything Jamie has done, when he comes to Ted in Season 2 at his lowest point, Ted sees that he is hurting and needs support. He sees that Jamie wants to be a better person, and Ted wants to help him achieve that. He believes in Jamie.
Do you think the return of the prodigal son, Jamie Tartt, will impact that so-called vibe?
Well, I don't think so, Trent. I believe that Jamie's on a path to becoming a better man, and I'm just here to help him along that journey.
And slowly but surely, Jamie is able to grow and earn back the trust of his teammates. One of the biggest signs of Jamie fully believing is when he gives the most important penalty of the season to Danny. Now, the old Jamie would have taken the free kick for himself, wanting the glory, and to dance to his annoying song afterwards. But the new Jamie believes in his teammates, and knows that Danny needs this after what he has been through. R.I.P. Earl. By giving Danny the free kick, Jamie is showing that he believes in Danny, and that no matter what happens, they will win and lose together. The idea of belief is so foundational for the show and the character of Ted. In the first episode, when he is asked if he believes in ghosts, and he answers,
Oh, do you believe in ghosts, Ted?
I do. But more importantly, I think they need to believe in themselves.
it really tells you all you need to know about what kind of person that he is. He is incredibly kind-hearted and wants the best for everyone. He sees the best in others, like when he found a random guy busking on the street and believed that he would be an amazing performer, despite the way he looked.
This is Cam Cole. He's an undiscovered mega talent. Go on, Cam. Show me what you got.
The yellow belief sign has become iconic, and it is integral to the themes of the show. It is constantly in the background, and is one of the biggest through lines of the entire show. During some of the biggest moments, it is emphasized to remind everyone that no matter what adversities they are facing, they need to believe and persevere. Believing in yourself and others is so important in the world we live in, and its constant presence throughout Ted Lasso makes the show even more heartwarming and inspiring than it has any right to be. With so much media that is cynical and pessimistic, it is nice to have the earnestness of Ted Lasso to remind us, every once in a while, to believe. If you made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, it would mean a lot if you liked and subscribed. It really helps out the channel. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.